Hey everybody, and welcome to this, my second of 3 videos on the Nikon F100. In the first video, we looked at what the buttons were. In this video, we're going to talk about what they do, and in the third video, we're going to cover the custom functions menu. But because this camera requires batteries to do anything, we're going to talk about how to change the batteries first. I have the battery grip, and there are different inserts for it. I have the AA insert. So I don't know what all of the different inserts are, but the AA insert, which uses 6 AA's, is fantastic. And these last a long time, especially with the Eneloop Pros in it. If you don't have the battery grip, I believe that there is a AA caddy that goes in here as well. So I think this just uses AA's. Oh, I have the grips, have it written down. Okay. So there are multiple options for batteries for this camera. I have the MN15 for 6 AA's. There's also the MB15, which is a rechargeable battery pack. The MS13, which allows you to use 2 CR123s, which is probably going to go in this grip here. And then the MS12, which will also go in this grip, which would allow 4 AA batteries. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is how to mount and unmount lenses. So if you don't have a lens on the camera, you want to find this index dot, which is your mounting index, and you want to line it up with your focus point, and then just turn counter or anti-clockwise until the lens clicks in place and you've mounted a lens. To unmount a lens, you do the opposite. You push the lens release button down, turn it clockwise, and then remove. It's a very simple process to mount and unmount lenses on this camera. So we're going to talk about the camera drive modes. I touched on this in video 1, self-timer, which is, I think, I forget if it's 10 seconds or if we can adjust that in the menu system. We'll find out in video 3 if we can adjust it. Continuous slow is quieter than continuous, but 3 frames per second. It also slows down your rewind speed. This is really good for situations where you need to have a quieter camera, like if you're photographing a golf tournament or a play. Continuous is 4.5 frames per second. Single is 1 frame at a time, and then multiple exposures allows you to take multiple exposures. And it won't advance until you switch out of multiple exposure mode. On the back of the camera is the lock button here. So we're going to talk about how to use this using the lock button. First thing you want to do is select your shutter speed. I should probably get into automatic for that, or manual rather. Okay. So what you want to do is select the shutter speed. So we got 2500. You push down the L button and rotate the rear command dial. A little L appears up there in the top of the LCD screen, just next to the shutter speed number. And that means you cannot adjust the shutter speed until you unlock it, and then you can adjust the shutter speed like that. The same applies with your aperture setting, which let me put in a lens so we can actually see that at work. So the lens that I have for this camera will not actually allow me to do that because it doesn't have an automatic mode. It only has an aperture ring. So at any rate, that's how the lock button works. You basically just hold down lock, adjust the parameter you want to adjust, and then it locks it until you manually unlock it. So the next thing we're going to do is load film into the camera. Push the film back release lock button down, and then slide, there we go, the release until it's open. We're going to grab a roll of film here. We're just going to drop it into the film cassette chamber, pull it out and lead it, pull out the leader until the leader ends where that red dot is. Close the film back, and it will automatically advance this until you get to frame 1. Now, because this camera is really smart, I can't show you the film going through the camera or being rewound, but I can take a bunch of photos, and then we can open up the film back, and you can see how it's been taken up across the film here to be taken up on the take-up spool there. And then when you're done with it, all you have to do is wait until you get to the end and it will automatically rewind, or hold these 2 buttons down and it'll rewind for you. And I'm pretty sure that I just screwed up because I don't think that left me a leader. It did not. Well, I guess I'm not using that film for another video. Okay, so that's how you load film, how it advances, and then you unload film by either letting it automatically rewind or holding down these two buttons to rewind in the middle. And then you take out your film, put in your next one when you're done to keep shooting, or if you're done shooting for the day, just turn your camera off and it will just display E until your battery dies completely. All right, let's talk a little bit about flash use with this camera. And this camera has a PC port right here and a hot shoe. The flash sync speed on it is 1/250th of a second, meaning that's the fastest speed at which you can use a flash on this camera. Any flash you use will be a modern flash, which is also called an X or a xenon type of flash. This does not work with bulb flashes, but realistically, if you're watching this video, you don't own a bulb flash and you're not using bulbs in all probability. The way that the flash works is that the focal plane curtain opens, and then at some speed up to 1/250th of a second, the entire film plane is open to light, at which point the bulb, or the flash rather, triggers. Flash reaches your subject, comes back to the film plane, and then the curtain closes. The shutter speed is not controlled by how quickly the curtain moves. The curtain will always move at the same speed. The shutter speed is controlled by how big the gap is between the first and second curtains, okay? So, 1/250th is the fastest shutter speed at which the entire film plane is open. Now, if you took a picture at 1/4000th, the gap might be like this, okay? And so what that means is you might get a very thin sliver in the middle of exposed negative, but then the shutter curtains would block everything else, so you wouldn't get to see them. Basically, you can use a flash at any shutter speed from 30 seconds up to, or to as fast as 1/250th. Now let's talk a little bit about what the different flash modes are. So if you take a look on your F100 screen, oops, don't need that. Okay. So hold down the flash mode, and you're going to get a little screen that looks like this, and it's going to show your flash mode. Lightning bolt, slow, rear. That was it. That's slow in the middle. Rear sync, red eye, slow curtain, normal. So normal is what's called front curtain sync. Now what that means is that your first curtain opens, and then when it finishes its travel to the other side of the shutter, the flash will trigger, and then whenever the exposure ends, the second curtain will travel to be closed. With red eye reduction, we'll go this way. With red eye reduction, the flash will pulse before it fires to shrink people's pupils to reduce the effect of flash-induced red eye. With slow speed sync, this is what you would use for slow shutter speeds. Rear curtain sync we'll get to in a second, and red eye with slow speed sync is red eye reduction with slow shutter speed syncing. Rear curtain travel, what that means is that we just talked about normal triggering when the first curtain reaches the end of its transit. Rear curtain is that the flash triggers right before the second curtain starts its transit. If you're shooting at 1/250th of a second, that does not matter. But if you have, let's say, a 20-second exposure, and you're going to have somebody move through your frame and then trigger a flash at the end of the frame. So let's say you have a buddy on a skateboard, right? And you say, you start the exposure, and then they have some reflectors on, and you have some lights set up, and they come through the frame, maybe do a kick flip with their skateboard or something, so you can catch some movement there that's interesting. And then when they get here, the exposure ends, the flash triggers because the curtain's about to sync. What you have is your friend illuminated with the reflectors that were on them in the skateboard causing light behind them, or catching light behind them, showing a trail of them moving across the frame, but without them actually being illuminated. So that's one of the things rear curtain can be used for. And then back to normal. So the next thing we're going to do is talk about shooting in the different modes with this camera, because there are 4 shooting modes: manual, aperture priority, program, and shutter priority. So we're going to hit mode, and then the rear command wheel will switch between M, P, S, and A, okay? Manual is full manual. You control the aperture, you control the shutter speed. If they're correct, great, and you've taken a wonderful photo, or at least a well-exposed photo. If they aren't correct, well, that's a problem. You're not going to get a well-exposed photo. P is program mode, which means the camera will do the thinking for you. You can program mode shift, but since I don't shoot in program mode, I honestly am not an expert in that. I don't really know how to do it. But program mode will know which lens you have on, which focal length, which apertures, what the scene is looking like, and pick the best setting based on those factors. Shutter priority means you control the shutter speed, and then the camera will pick the best aperture. Aperture priority is the opposite. You pick the best aperture, and then the camera will pick the best shutter speed. So most of my shooting is full manual and aperture priority. Just a matter of personal preference and shooting style, how you're going to set your camera and which mode you're going to use. So to take a picture with this camera, you're going to select your mode. In manual, you control the shutter speed and the aperture. If we go over to shutter priority, you control, just the shutter. There we go. And in aperture priority, you control, well, with a different lens you would control the aperture. With this lens, I have to adjust the actual aperture ring, but that will allow me to use aperture priority on this camera. Okay. I can leave it in manual because I want to be able to control the shutter speed and everything very easily. Okay. So when you're standing behind the camera, you can either use autofocus or manual focus. So with autofocus, you just have to press the shutter button and the camera will focus. Does not like whatever it's looking at there. And you can take your pictures. With manual focus, then you're responsible for focusing on whatever it is you're going to focus on. And that's it. It's really very simple to use this camera. Once you have the mode set and you've picked your shutter speed or aperture or whatever you need to pick, it's just a matter of lining up your frame and taking a picture. So what about double exposures? Just switch over here to the multiple exposure shot setting. And then we're going to EV compensate. So if you're going to do a double exposure, you want to EV compensate with negative 1 stop of light, just like that. If you're going to do a triple exposure, you want 2 stops of light, maybe a little bit more. I'm sorry, maybe a little bit less, 1.7. If you're going to do 4 exposures, maybe you want to be about negative 2, 3 stops of light. A little bit of playing around there. But basically, to get the multiple exposures, you're just going to use your multiple exposure setting and then EV compensate to take care of the exposure value compensation that has to happen. And the reason for that is because if you hit a negative with the correct amount of light twice, it's going to be very dense or thick or dark. Those are 3 terms that mean the same thing, which is that the negative's overexposed and dark. If you digitize it, it'll be low contrast and high noise. If you print it in a darkroom, it'll be low contrast and long development times. So you don't want to do that at all. So you use the exposure value compensation to allow, in program shutter priority and aperture priority, you use exposure value compensation to reduce the amount of light. In manual mode, you just yourself control the shutter speed or aperture to cut the amount of light in half. That's all. If your proper shutter speed and aperture are 1/125th at f/5.6, half as much light with the shutter would be 1/250th because they're fractions, so the higher number is less light, or half as much light on the aperture would be f/8 instead of f/5.6. So that's a bit of the science behind it. However you want to do it creatively beyond that is completely up to you. All right, so that is what we had to cover functionally on this camera. In video 3, we're going to take a look at the menu system so that you can set up the custom functions to further fine-tune how this camera works. Thank you for watching this video. Please give me a thumbs up. That lets me know that I'm on the right track producing content which is useful and helpful to you. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those in the comments section below. I'm pretty good about checking these every couple of days and answering questions. If you have any suggestions or ideas for future videos, and if I have the technical know-how and equipment, I'm more than happy to make those. One last thing. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. I gotta get up, Steinbeck. I have to turn off the camera.